Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 38 of the Cleveland Indians franchise here at MLB The Show 21 for the PlayStation 5. As today the Cleveland Indians return home for a pair of series against the Minnesota Twins in 4 games and the Milwaukee Brewers in 3 games. So if you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. As you take a look at the standings, you can see this 4-game series at home has major implications on the division. As we sit 5.5 games back, a good chance to either put some space closer or take ourselves out. Triston McKenzie will be on the mound for the Indians, while Byron Buxton will lead us off for the Twins. And on a 1-2 pitch, he does dribble this one over to shortstop, who will throw it over to Naylor for the first out. And we'll take a look at this Minnesota Twins lineup. Following the All-Star is Luis Arraez, followed by the 2015 AL MVP Josh Donaldson. Mitch Garver is at first, followed by All-Star Max Kepler. Jake Cave at right. Jorge Polanco is your DH. Astudillo is your catcher. And Lynn at shortstop. Here is Luis Arraez, second baseman today, and he will ground to a fellow second baseman who cannot field it. And Arraez has what is ruled a single. That brings up the former MVP Donaldson, and he hits this one down the left field line. That is fair, and it's a base hit. It is cut off by the former Twin Eddie Rosario, but not in time. Runners now on first and third, and this one's going into the gap. It is going to be trouble. Garver takes it to the wall. 1 run has scored. The second one is heading to home plate, and he gets there in time. A 2 RBI double for Mitch Garver gets the first runs of the ball game for Minnesota. Next batter, Max Kepler, will fly out into shallow center. Nobody will tag on this one. That'll be the second out of the inning. That brings up Jake Cave, 3-1 to Cave, and he hits a blast deep right field. This one's carrying, and it's caught just shy of the warning track for out number 3, but the Twins get 2 in their first inning. Matt Shoemaker, the former Blue Jay, will take the mound for the Twins, playing very well this season, 3.31 ERA through his 26 appearances. He will start off against Ahmed Rosario, who on the very first batter will draw strike 3. Check swing, say he went around. That's out number 1. Josh Naylor will step to the dish, now hitting .280, having a very good second half of the season. And a 1-1 pitch, he hits one right over to the first base hot corner. Mitch Garver grabs it. And we'll take a look at the Cleveland Indians lineup. Next up, we'll see Eddie Rosario, the former Twin, followed by Jordan Luplow. Andres Jimenez is the shortstop. Yu Chang at third. Tyler Freeman, Hedges, and Perez line us out. Cleveland Indians 180 home runs is 5th in the American League. This team has surprisingly brought a lot of offense to the table this year. Eddie Rosario now at the dish. He will draw a full count walk, taking his bag, bringing up Jordan Luplow up next. 1-0 to Luplow. He grounds this one over to shorts, and that will end the first inning. Twins up 2-0. We're going to go bottom 3 now. Ahmed Rosario leading off for Cleveland, still 2-0, and he will hit a liner over to right field. And I'll bring up Josh Naylor up next. 1-1 to him. He gets a sinker. Nice pitch to hit. Hits it deep to right center. And this one is robbed. Byron Buxton at the wall brings it back in. That is the second out of the inning. Naylor just a couple feet shy of getting Indians on the board, but that is the defensive phenom. That is Byron Buxton. Look at that extension. What a play by Buxton. Eddie Rosario now up next, 3-2. Dribbles this one over to first base. That'll end the third, and Cleveland walks away with nothing. Now to the top of the 5th, Lynn will step into the dish. McKenzie's starting to settle down a little bit here. Up to 65 pitches, and he gets the very first pitch of Lynn to ground right to his feet. That'll be out number 1. Back to the top of the lineup we go. Byron Buxton at the dish. 1-2, hits this one into left field. It is a base hit, and there is one on. And you got to respect the speed of Byron Buxton. You can see he leads all Twins in hits this season. See him off first base trying to go. Luis Arraez up next. However, it's not going to matter. 3-6-3 double play. That'll end the top of the 5th. So McKenzie settles down. Bottom 5 we go. Perez steps to the dish. 0 for 1 on the day. Cleveland's still looking to crack that scoreboard. He has 2-2 count from Shoemaker, and he hits it right up the middle for a base hit. So Perez leads off the 5th with a base runner. That takes us back to the top of the lineup. Rosario up next, grounds it to the right side of the infield. It sneaks through. That's back-to-back singles, and Cleveland might be in business here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Josh Naylor up next. First pitch to him. He hits this one up the middle. However, this one's going to be 6-4, 3 double play. So now they need another base hit to bring home the run. And it's Eddie Rosario, 3-1 up the middle. That's the first run of the ball game. The former Twin strikes for Cleveland. It is 2-1 Twins. Jordan Luplow up next. 1-0 to Luplow. He hits this one down the left field line. It is fair. Eddie's going to try to get to third. Aggressive base running does not pay off. He is thrown out at third, but Cleveland does get one. Alex Colomé will come out of the pen here for Minnesota. The former White Sox, 5.79 ERA. Not the guy you would think you would want here in the 8th, setting up for the 9th. Josh Naylor is at the dish, 1-0 to lead off this inning, and he will ground right into the heart of the shift. That's one away. Now full count to Eddie Rosario. He's got 1 RBI today, and he will draw another base as he draws the full count walk, putting the tying runner on first. And they're going to pinch run. Bradley Zimmer will come into first, get a little bit more speed on the base path. Jordan Luplow up next. First pitch swing and hits this one into the gap, and it's against the wall. Zimmer with that speed going to get to third. That is a double with 1 away. Cleveland with a good scoring chance here. How about Jimenez? Can he get the run home? No, he pops up a nice cutter, frustratingly throws the bat down. So just like last time, it's going to require a base hit. Yu Chang is that man, and he hits it up the middle. It's batted down. Tries to get to it, but no play at first. That is a tie ball game. Yu Chang comes in the clutch. Tied at 2. Can we get another run? No, we cannot. Tyler Freeman pops up in the infield. That ends the 8th, but they're all tied at 2. We're going to go 9. James Karinchak comes out of the pen, and if you remember, James Karinchak is actually hurt. I did not realize this when I put him in the game. In his very first batter, he rips it to the wall, and that'll be a leadoff double for Minnesota. Now, since Karinchak was hurt, I went to go warm up the pin, and I clicked on Oliver Perez, and instead of just warming up, it puts him right in the game, I guess because Karinchak is hurt. So here comes Oliver Perez, cold turkey, out of the pen, trying to preserve this runner on second, and he cannot. The first batter he faced hits one up the middle. Runner rounds third, comes home, no play at the plate, and just like that, Minnesota goes back up 3-2. So now Perez has got to face 3 batters. He's got to try to get through this inning. That is 1 out, as there's a pop out to Luplow and right, so that's 1 away. Next batter up 2-1, grounds it over to the third baseman, so he does get the next 2 batters out with 3 outs, but now we're down by 1 in the 9th, and here comes the all-star closer, Taylor Rogers, in to try to get save number 39 on the season. A 4.42 ERA, though, is not what you like to see out of your closer. First batter, though, Hedges will be looked silly based off that slider. That's out number 1. You can see Taylor Rogers where he sits on the American League save leaders. 0-2 to the next batter, Perez. He chops this one over to second base. Arise throws him out at first, which means it all comes down to Ahmed Rosario. He has the game on the line. 1 for 4 today, single back in the 5th. We need another base hit here. 1-1 to Rosario. He grounds it over to shortstop, throws it to first, and that will be your ball game. Minnesota wins game number 1 of this 4-game set by a final score of 3-2, and they extend their lead to 6.5 games now in the Central, as that's a hard loss for Cleveland. You got to make a better decision. You got to know that Karinchak is hurt in this situation. Cannot go in the ball game. As he gets credited for the loss, Colomé got the win, and Rogers did get save number 39. So that's a bad loss for us. It kind of extends, but there is a 4-game series. However, in game number 2, we lose 6-1. So not much better. Kenta Maeda went a complete game, 100-run, 10K game for the Twins, while Allen went 4 2/3 and gave up 3 earned runs. So obviously a better pitching performance by Minnesota. But in game 3, we do win 3-0 as we get a shutout of our own. Plesac gets a complete game shutout with 10 Ks. You'll love to see that. Fortunately, in game 4, we cannot split the series. We do drop 3 out of 4 at home against Minnesota as they win game number 4, 5-3. So that puts a little bit of space in between us and the division. I didn't really think we had a shot at the division anyway, as we had a better shot at the wild card. But the second half of the episode, we will face a home series against the Brewers. And I decided to play the second game of the series because it is an MLB Network game. And I did sim the first one. We did win 5-0. That was a complete game for Aaron Sevale. So pitching has been dominant for Cleveland, and we hope we can get that here in game number 2 of this 3-game series at home against the NL Central leading Milwaukee Brewers. So 2 teams fighting for a playoff spot. We will see Triston McKenzie again, primetime McKenzie this episode. Hopefully he has a better outing today. Lorenzo Cain will be the leadoff hitter for Milwaukee. 0-2 to him. He hits this one down the left field line. That'll get down for a leadoff single as he stays on first base. That brings up the former Cardinal Colton Wong, who signed the 2-year, $18 million contract in the offseason. Hasn't quite lived up to his contract, in my opinion, out in Milwaukee, as here's a 6-4-3 double play. And we'll take a look at Milwaukee's lineup, shall we? Up next will be the All-Star in 2018 NL MVP Christian Yelich, followed by Keston Hiura. The former Oriole Trey Mancini will be at first. Willie Castro, the former Tiger, at shortstop. Tyrone Taylor, Manny Pena, and Hernan Perez will round out this lineup. 8th in the National League in runs scored is Milwaukee. So here's Christian Yelich playing like his former MVP self. 333 average on the season, 34 homers, 95 RBIs. So 3-2 count to Yelich, and he will draw the walk. Close pitch does not go McKenzie's way. Puts a runner back on first base for Keston Hiura, who on his full count pitch pops it up into right. So that will end the top of the first. This time no runs given up by McKenzie. On the mound for Milwaukee will be Freddie Peralta, who is not having the best season. 4.31 ERA, 4-10 record with a 1.38 whip. However, he has been striking out batters at a pretty nice clip. Amer Rosario back in the leadoff, and his first at-bat of this game will be a single into right field, and that's how the Cleveland offense will start today. Takes up Josh Naylor up next, 3-1, draws the walk, so back-to-back base runners to start the day for Cleveland. And here comes Jimenez playing in the third spot today. He also draws a walk, so Peralta having some struggle with his command early, loads the bases for Franmil Reyes, who is playing today. He is back at DH, 36 homers on the season, could use a big one here. Instead, he strikes out on the sliders. That's a big out for Peralta. But then up next, Yu Chang does pop this one up into right. They will test it. Rosario has some speed, and he will get in there for a sac fly. So Cleveland strikes first in the bottom of the first. Perez up next. He strikes out swinging. So Cleveland only gets one on bases loaded, no outs. So I guess that's pretty solid scenario. Leading off for Milwaukee in the top of the second will be the former Oriole Trey Mancini, who was picked up close to the deadline in an aggressive move by Milwaukee. He does strikeouts to begin his day. And then up next is Willie Castro, another pickup from the Detroit Tigers, who they trade away number 42 prospect Garrett Mitchell, but he suffers the same fate as Mancini, back-to-back strikeouts for McKenzie before walking Tyrone Taylor to first. That brings up Pena, the catcher, and he strikes him out. So McKenzie, 3 Ks in the inning, pitching pretty dominant early. Ben Gamble will lead off the bottom of the second for Cleveland. A lot of backups in for the Indians today. You see Gamble in left, and then at second base there will be Owen Miller, who steps up to the plate. 1-0 to Miller, and he gets a fastball, hits it right to the almost exact same spot that Gamble did for a fly out to right. And then to round out the lineup today will be our right fielder, Harold Ramirez, who is hitting a pathetic 154 on the season. And he will ground out to the right side of the infield. So 1-2-3 is the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Indians. We'll go a little bit farther in this one to the top of the fifth now. Tyrone Taylor leads off for Milwaukee. 0-1 pitch to him, and he hits this one up the middle. It's a nice play at short by Jimenez, but the speed of Taylor does beat out the throw. So he's on first base. McKenzie is looking out for him. That brings up the catcher Pena, and he will ground this one up the middle for a base hit. So that's back-to-back singles for Milwaukee, trying to tie this one up here in the top of the fifth. Perez up next, 2-1 to him. He hits it into right field. This one's going to carry towards the corner. Ramirez does have it. However, the runner will tag and go to third. So now runners on the corner, 1 out, top of the lineup back at the plate. And Lorenzo Cain will deliver. Hits a single up the middle for a base hit. And we're tied at 1 apiece here in the fifth, thanks to Lorenzo Cain. And it'll actually be it for Triston McKenzie. The pitch count getting up high, so we'll bring in Nick Whitgren out of the pen, 3.57 ERA. So McKenzie only goes 4 1/3, and we're hoping Whitgren can get out of this inning. This is a good start. A pop out to Gamble in left for out number 2, bringing up Christian Yelich. Nice opportunity for him to do some damage, and he does get a single into right. Ramirez has it. Runner will test his arm. Play at the plate is in time. That is a gun down throw by Ramirez. Keeps us tied at 1. Nice defensive play out there. Zach Godley will come in for Milwaukee. He will relieve Peralta, so both pitchers get the no decision. Godley's looked very good this season, 261 since coming over in the offseason from Boston. He will begin the bottom of the 6th against Franmil Reyes, who is 0 for 2 on the day. 1-2 pitch to Reyes, hits this one deep into the right center gap, and it will not be caught. Actually, overran it looked like the right fielder did, and Reyes was hustling, so he gets a leadoff double for his efforts. That's his 24th double on the season. Cleveland with another scoring opportunity, potentially. Yu Chang draws the walk. Next batter is on base as well, and that's going to take us to Roberto Perez, who gets jammed on this one. It might have actually worked to his favor as they can't get the double play ball. So runners do advance now, 1 out for Ben Gamble. And 0-1 to Gamble. He chops it right back to the pitcher. That's not what you need there. So now we need a base hit from Owen Miller. 1-1 to Miller. He pulls it to the left side of the infield. It's batted down. Play at first is not in time. It's actually offline as well. So Miller gets the RBI and puts Cleveland back up by 1. How about Harold Ramirez? Had a nice defensive play earlier. Cannot turn it into offense still, so Cleveland only gets 1 in the 6th. But we're going to fast forward here to the top of the 9th, where James Karinchak, who is now healthy, will look for save number 38 on the season. First batter he faces goes down swinging. That was Trey Mancini striking out. Next up, Willie Castro, 2-0 to Castro, and he hits this one up the middle. So the tying run does reach first. Up for the 7-hitter Taylor. 2-1 to Taylor. Gets a curveball, pops it up into right field. Harold Ramirez is underneath it. That'll be out number 2, which means it's going to come down to the catcher Pena if the Brewers want to continue. He is 1 for 3 on the day, singled back in the 5th. 0-2 count to Pena. He will chop this one over to the second baseman. Miller has it, fires to first, and that will be your ball game. Cleveland wins game number 2 by a final score of 2-1. Making it a sweep potential tomorrow at home. Hopefully to get back on track after that Twins series. But nice win by Cleveland. Good pitching performance by McKenzie. Fortunately, he didn't go 5, so he couldn't get the win. That does go to Whitgren. And Karinchak picks up another save. Player of the game does go to Karinchak in that save in the final inning. As you can take a look at the stats, going into game number 3, we actually suffer a big injury. Yu Chang fractures his wrist out 2 to 3 months. That's a big blow. We do sweep the Brewers, but it came at a price, as Chang also is having a great game. Had a 2-run homer in this one. But Yu Chang was stepping up to be our third baseman after Ramirez went down. Was actually putting together a solid season, hitting in the 280s. So now our starting third baseman is out. Our backup third baseman is out. So we're actually getting pretty thin in the infield. I would call up Brian Rocchio to fill that spot, but he's still out for another 10 days with an ACL sprain. So in the meantime, I'm going to give a shot to right fielder Will Benson, the 6'5", 21-year-old from Atlanta, Georgia. Hasn't played phenomenal down at AAA, but he's got some pop to his bat, and I think we could use a little bit more power. So why not give Will Benson a shot? Will Benson going to be called up to fill that roster spot temporarily. And if he shows out, he might hold on to it. Next episode, we have a 2-game road series against the Twins, followed by a 3-game road series against the Yankees. 2 hard series. It's going to be the hardest week in the month of October for us, and it's a big chance to see where we stack up against some playoff competition. We will not see Triston McKenzie next episode. We'll see Zach Plesac to begin, as this is our last series against the Twins to potentially make some damage in the Central. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.